Ladies and gentlemen, now I've just been watching the Korean live stream and they've just revealed a brand new red version of Eastin, but more importantly, a completely new version of Valenti. And this Valenti looks sick, boys. The model is absolutely amazing, but also the cards and abilities look very interesting. So this is another green Valenti, and again, I think currently with the One Escanor, green is a very good class to be at the moment, but her passive increases her crit damage depending on half of her critical resistance. So I think you just want to build the defense pieces, full crit resistance, and then Escanor is going to have a very hard time critting her, and she gains half of that as additional crit damage as well. Now, her first card is exactly the same as Sariel's, so it's the AoE cleave that has a triple chance to crit, so as long as she's got like a reasonable base crit chance, again, this is going to be almost guaranteed crits on every single opponent, and we see with Sariel at the moment how incredibly broken this card is. And I think with the passive fueling up this damage even further, hopefully this should be really, really nice for Valenti. So overall, this is a really solid card, and also kind of allows her to get through and get around those tank Dians. Now, the thing that's really interesting about this Valenti is she's got a brand new card as her second card. So it deals damage, but then applies a debuff, which prevents the opponent from activating any secondary effects on cards, aside from stances and recovery cards. So I believe the way that this works, for example, if there's a Pierce card on Blue D Meliodas, you use this card, you shut that out, then he's not going to apply that additional Pierce damage on his card. At least to the best of my understanding, this is how it functions, but also for like Lost Vein Meliodas' ult, prevents that additional secret technique damage as well. Now, again, I may be misunderstanding this in early translation, so take everything with a pinch of salt, but at least to the best of my knowledge, that is how this card works, and again, that could be insanely valuable for negating so many ults and so many different card effects, but it also does state that it applies to ultimate attacks as well. Now, having a look at this Valenti in action, again, the model is absolutely amazing. She kind of like reminds me of a Festival King type character that's just absolutely huge, but I think she's got such a badass stance going on. And in all honesty, man, she looks like 5 times better than the original Valenti in comparison. And I think there's probably going to be at least like another version of this Valenti, but it seems like they really wanted to evolve the character, which I'm totally game for. Now, they didn't cover the ult in the interface, but they're looking at it here. So what it does is it deals 525% damage to all enemies, but then also applies a buff to Valenti, which increases her damage output by 50% and also reduces damage taken by 50% for 3 turns after that. So yeah, the ultimate seems very interesting, but let's talk about that first card. So going back, I had a quick look here. This Valenti actually doesn't have any proper gear on. She's got just over 6,000 attack. So yeah, all of the cards seem like super underwhelming damage-wise, but she doesn't have like anywhere close to a proper setup. So again, this first one, it looks absolutely amazing. This is the same as Sariel's cleave in terms of its effect, but again, the damage looks rubbish because she does not have a proper gear set on here. But with the right gear and setup, and also you can use Sariel as her association as well to ignore 50% crit defense, I think she is going to be maybe a little bit of a monster. Again, that card is just so incredibly valuable just because you've got 100% crit chance on absolutely everybody. Like Lost Vein Meliodas is very rare to see in Japanese PvP at the moment, just because you've got the One Escanor absolutely everywhere, so it's going to be very nice for cleaving through those tank Dians that are just pestering everybody. But yeah, that single target debuff card looks absolutely amazing. You can also see the new status effect on the opponent, and again, whenever the opponent goes to use a card that has some sort of secondary effect on it, again, it's going to disable that effect. But here we have the ultimate of Valenti, just looks absolutely amazing, man. It's a little bit cheesy to a certain extent, but it looks very, very cool. So yeah, I love the new model. I love the animations, and again, even with only like 6,000 attack, that still hit for 100,000 there. So yeah, there could be some meaty damage out of Valenti's ultimate with the right gear setup and scenario. So yeah, I'm very curious, and it looks like the buff is applied like right before the ultimate as well, so this should cause it to hit even harder. And if she does get off the ultimate, again, she's going to be even even more annoying to get down, especially for the One Escanor, like having that huge amount of crit resistance and also the 50% damage reduction. Yeah, I think she is going to be a character that, at least on paper, from what we've seen initially, may be viable. But the thing is, and I've seen time and time again, you really never know how good characters are going to be until they're in the game. You can test them out with all sorts of teams and setups, but initially she does look very promising. But one of the best things about the new Valenti are the costumes. If you change the weapon, it changes the entire design of the gauntlets. So there's this kind of like, what is it, mechy construction type one, which is pretty damn cool. Again, some people are going to be really, really into this one. The classic look as well, just with like the massively beefed up gauntlets, does look quite nice. There's kind of one that looks like it should be in Overwatch, but yeah, that one looks pretty damn cool in all fairness. And again, I think there's like a really sinister one here with a super sinister costume as well. And I think this is probably my personal favorite. This looks like something out of Kingdom Hearts, man, and I'm just like a really, really big fan of it. But yeah, she's gonna look like a real boss for this. But honestly, man, I'm really, really excited for this new Valenti. I think she looks like a very interesting addition to the game. Now, on top of that as well, there's going to be a brand new red version of Eastin, and she's got the same ultimate as the previous one, so I imagine she is going to share the cosmetics there, which is really nice. Slightly annoying thing, again, about having a new Valenti is that there will be new cosmetics to buy and, you know, new gear set to make as well. However, this Eastin looks somewhat interesting, so she's a bit more control focused, and it looks like her passive is for every one of the OC characters that you have on the team. It reduces damage taken from single target attacks by 6% there. So yeah, I think the maximum is 18% damage reduction from single target attacks. And again, that's not too bad. I'm worried that this passive is a little bit on the weaker side and not going to be enough to kind of make her a core staple in like a full OC characters team. But she also does have some interesting additional mitigation on her second buff card. They also went through the base stats as well, and I must say, I don't think anything is looking terribly exceptional for the most part. It seems like most stuff is a little bit on the lower side, and nothing is kind of really standing out in terms of the additional stats that she does have. As we can see from the base stats as well, and the fact that she's only got 30,000 combat class, she doesn't have gear, she's got like 6k attack. So yeah, neither of these showcases featured gear on the characters, but her first card is the single target drain card. Again, a very valuable card to have. I would say that the meta at the moment is probably a little bit more bursty than Alt Rushy on the Japanese version, but again, having a character that's very focused on control and mitigation could make her very versatile for certain future metas as well. So yeah, single target drain card is not a bad card to have. Now, her second card is very interesting. I think the Red New Year's Elizabeth is the only character at the moment that has this card as well. So the bronze removes all debuffs from all allies, but the silver removes all debuffs from all allies, but also increases defense-related stats by 50%. And I think when you're in a very big bursty meta with like the One Escanor Sario, all these characters that are hitting like trucks, again, this buff could actually be really underrated currently on the Japanese version. And I think on global as well, it's really making me want to test out the red version of Elizabeth, because I'm thinking like, damn, this buff is going to slow down like Sariel, Losfe, Meliodas, Escanor so much. So yeah, I'm actually really like tempted to try out Red Liz now on global. But even if this Eastin can kind of get like a silver merger on turn 1, turn 2, and also has the additional damage reduction from her passive as well, again, she could be really good for slowing down the opponent. So yeah, I'm curious to see like how viable she's going to be, but I do have concerns that she's not really like quick enough for the current meta. But again, I really hope I'm incorrect and some sort of like crazy control teams do come up with this character. So yeah, I think alongside Tarmiel, Halloween Gotha, and Gil Thunder in the back, there could be some huge potential for a team that just has so much damage mitigation. So yeah, I'm a little bit curious about this Eastin as well. And again, she's got the same ult as the other Eastins, so it's got like double crit damage when it does crit. However, her crit chance does seem fairly low. But again, when maybe paired with the Halloween version of Gotha, his passive comes into play, then, you know, it may make it crit, and, you know, at least you can hopefully get somebody down. So here we get to see the cards in Eastin in action. So again, she's got a single target drain card, which is always very nice to have. Also, you know, when upgraded to like silver or gold, these cards hit really, really hard. There's very limited damage on the bronze. And once again, this Eastin does not have proper gear as well. The crit chance looks quite nice against the dummy here, but I think she's got like a 55% crit chance. So again, it's not terrible, but it's also like nothing amazing at the same time either. And then you've got that golden buff, and at gold, it also gives debuff immunity for 3 turns. So again, this could be really, really valuable, especially for countering characters like Gotha and Goddess Liz in the current meta. Again, one thing that I'm really seeing on global at the moment is Gloxinia is so valuable for that heal that also gives 2-turn debuff immunity, because then like Goddess Liz and Gotha can't control, and then you can just win the match there. So that's one of my favorite global teams at the moment. But yeah, the cards and animations look really, really cool for this Eastin, and again, I like that you can use the previous cosmetics as well. But out of the two, if I were to guess, and I may be incorrect, I think Valenti is going to be the more exciting character and bring a little bit more to the table. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this look at the 2 new characters coming into the Japanese version, I believe tomorrow, and if you did, please do smash that like button, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.